Hi everyone, welcome. In today's video, let us look into the book list for UPSC Prelims. So when I first began my UPSC journey, I did not know anybody else. There was nobody who was even remotely related to me who was reading this. And as a result, I did not know which resources to follow, what books to read. So I ended up reading ton of books which were good books but not very important from the prelims perspective. At the same time, I did not read certain books which were very important for prelims. So finally, when I was able to clear UPSC in 2022, these are the book list and the resources I followed, and I hope it will be helpful for at least few of you. To begin with, first is Polity. In Indian Polity, the most important book is this one, Indian Polity by Lakshmikant. I have the 6th edition of this book. You have to read this book from cover to cover. There are about 11 parts in this book, and but you have to give more importance to the initial parts, part 1 to 6, which deals with chapters such as preamble, fundamental rights, directive principles, president, parliament, emergency provisions, Supreme Court, High Court. All these parts are very important because every year, if you see the previous year question papers, questions come from these chapters. So give more focus to these chapters, but read the entire book thoroughly. Another book for Indian Polity is an NCRT, the class 11th NCRT, which is Our Constitution at Work. This is a easy to read kind of book, but don't skip this book just because you're reading the Lakshmikant, because sometimes in prelims there will be questions that is directly pricked from this book, and it could be a really simple question. If you have read Lakshmikant, you might have missed that and you will lose 1 mark. So instead of that, just read this book. It is easy. In 1 or 2 reads you will understand this book. Next, coming to the modern history part, here the only book that you have to read is Spectrum, written by Rajiv Ahir. This also is a book which you have to read from cover to cover, but give more importance to the freedom movement, that is from 1857 to 1947. So first you finish this, then you go to like before 1857, whatever happened, like arrival of Portuguese, Dutch, French, Maratha regime, etc. That you cover later. And in this freedom movement, give more importance to what happened during the tenure of various viceroys, during governor generals, and also which were the various movements, the Khilafat movement, non-cooperation movement, arrival of Cripps mission, etc. And focus on what happened, why it happened, how it happened, who were the people that were involved, and what were the results of these movements. So everything you read from this perspective. Along with that, in Spectrum book, there are certain letters, words which are written in bold or italicized. Know the proper meaning of these words. Sometimes directly they will just ask a question from this. So after that, the next most focus you should be on the social reforms. There are various social reform movements, tribal movements, peasant movements. In this also, you should know who were the people who were involved in these movements, why this happened, what were the causes that led to these movements, what were the results that happened, and in which place it happened. And also you should know a chronology of in which order this happened. Sometimes they even ask the chronology part. So coming to ancient history, here there are 3 NCRTs. One is the old NCRT written by R.S. Sharma, and the other 2 are new NCRTs. One is Our Past 1 and the other one is Themes in Indian History 1. Here you need not read the entire book. Instead, you focus on various topics, because if you see the previous year question papers, again and again you will get questions from Buddhism, Jainism, Indus Valley Civilization, Guptas, and even the literature aspect. So read these particular topics from different books. Along with these NCRTs, there is also a book written by A.L. Bhashan. From this book, you cover Buddhism because it is written in depth about Buddhism from this book. And also there is also a literature part in this book. You can understand who has written which book. So make a list and memorize that. Even in medieval India, you have to read both old as well as new NCRT. The old NCRT, which was written by Satish Chandra, and along with that there are 2 new NCRTs. One is the Our Past 2 and the second one is Themes in Indian History 2. So even when coming to medieval history also, instead of reading the entire book, which is good if you read the entire book, but you also have to focus on topics such as Vijayanagara Empire. Vijayanagara Empire is very important. Along with this, Mughals. These 2 are very important topics. But along with this, also read Delhi Sultanates, also Marathas to some extent. focus more on the art and culture that happened during these periods, and what was the literature aspect. Was there any scientific discoveries that happened, or what were the names of various administrators, or various, what was the accountant called, what was the police officer called during these periods. So know the meaning of these terms. Coming to art and culture, here again there are two NCRTs. One is the Fine Arts NCRT of class 11th, and one more is also the Fine Arts NCRT of class 12th. You have to read both these books and give more importance to the diagrams present in these books. There are various diagrams about paintings, dance forms and mural art, etc., and the various places where these paintings, etc., were found. You have to memorize these diagrams, like look at the diagrams, understand what color is used in these paintings. If there is a sculpture, what is written at the side of the this images that are present. Memorize this, because sometimes they will ask which color was used or which material was used. Will be one of the options. You will be able to eliminate it if you have a mental image of all the images that are present in this book, which is very important. Along with this, there is also another standard books, that is this. Mine is torn actually. That is Nitin Singhania's book, Indian Art and Culture. This looks like a bulky book, but once you start reading this, it is not very bulky. So in this, the first and second chapter is very important. Along with this, you also cover the dance form, music, puppetry, and even literature aspects, and UNESCO's tangible heritage sites, intangible heritage sites. All these you cover from this book. So this will be sufficient for art and culture. But before reading art and culture, just don't directly jump into reading these books. First read the previous year question papers. Understand which type of questions they are asked, because the questions that comes from art and culture are a bit tricky. Sometimes even if you have read the entire book, you will not be able to answer it. So read the previous year questions thoroughly, and based on that you study. Next, coming to geography, here you have to read the NCRTs from class 6 to class 12th. You have to read all of these NCRTs. Give more importance to the diagrams that are present in these NCRTs. So if you read these NCRTs, you should be able to understand the various climates that are present, and soil types, and crops, rivers, the origin of these rivers, which and all states it flows through, and if there are any national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, elephant reserves or tiger reserves, etc. All these you should know in which state it falls. Also, for the type of questions that are asked in nowadays prelims, you should be able to plot it properly in the map. You should know if there are any other important historic places that are present. So along with reading this NCRT, you also take a separate atlas, and whatever the places that are coming in these geography textbooks, be able to mark it there. Also know properly where it falls, all these places. Along with this, there is one more standard book, which is this one. This is an old edition of this book, the G.C. Leong book. In this, you read the second part. The second part, which deals with different world climates, that is the Mediterranean climate, savanna climate, tropical climate, Arctic climate. Don't spend a lot of time in this book, but usually sometimes one question will come from the world climate. You should be at least able to eliminate the wrong answer and reach at the correct answer. So read that. And along with this, in the atlas, whenever you are reading the newspaper, if there are any places which are coming frequently, like some summits happened in this place, or there was a conference, or something of that sort, this place is an important place, or it's an historic place, you should be able to mark it in your atlas. Do this on a daily basis, then eventually you will be able to mark these places easily. Along with this, also make a separate list of glaciers, hills that are present, then soil types, the characteristics of these soil types, and also crops, what is the proper conditions for the growth of these crops. These crops are present in which states, all these things. Coming to economics, there are two NCRTs. That is of class 12th, Introductory Microeconomics as well as Introductory Macroeconomics. Read these two books. But I would suggest that before, if you are someone like me, I had no in-depth knowledge of economics before actually starting preparing for this exam. So I would suggest seeing some YouTube videos and understanding the concepts, because economics, you have to understand the concepts in order to solve those MCQs that come in prelims. So I followed was Mrunal sir's videos. There are certain videos present in YouTube, especially the inflation, banking, etc. is very properly explained. You will understand it. So I followed his videos. And apart from this, you can also use a book called written by Ramesh Singh. Instead of reading the entire book, supplement it along with the Mrunal sir's videos as well as the NCRTs. Supplement certain aspects, inflation, etc. from this book. Along with this, there are two other documents. One is the budget and the second one is economic survey. Budget document, it will be a small document. Usually you get a summary from various coaching institutes of both budget as well as economic survey. Now coming to environment, in environment the book is Shankar IAS book, this one. I think this is an older version of this book. So read this book, especially the part 5 that is present in this book, which deals with various acts and policies and organizations, environmental organizations of India as well as various international organizations, various summits such as Ramsar Convention, sites, etc. All this is very important from this book. Along with this, for environment, another important thing that you have to do is the previous year question papers. This is very important because usually somewhere it gets repeated. Not repeated in the sense same question does not get asked, but what you have to do is, if there is a question on particular animals such as sea cow or barsinga, etc., gharial, you have to Google it, gharial, and read the Wikipedia page of gharial. Also write gharial and write UPSC. Whatever documents you get from that, read one or two in that. So make a notes of your own based on the previous year questions. If for example, if there was a question on moss or on lichens, you have to read the Wikipedia page as well as another UPSC, some coaching institute, some document that you get from YouTube, read that. That is very important. And environment is a subject which you can score easily if you put little effort. Compared to other subjects, you put little more effort to environment, it will pay you off. Coming to science and technology section, first you have to read the Hindu newspaper. Once a week there is a science and technology portion that comes, so read that, and along with that also visit the websites of ISRO, NASA as well as Department of Science and Technology. Of ISRO and NASA you can find the latest space missions and note down all the characteristics of these missions. Along with that, find out the new schemes that are launched by Department of Science and Technology. Along with this, for emerging technologies, follow any YouTube channel or any channel on Telegram where continuously you will get information about any latest emerging technologies, etc. So make a list of this. So this is sufficient for science and technology. Finally, coming to the current affairs portion, for this you have to read any one newspaper. I read The Hindu. You can read either The Hindu or Indian Express. Along with this, you read any monthly magazine from any coaching institutes. I used to read the Vision IAS monthly magazine. And just before the prelims, about 2 months, there will be a PT 365 which gets released by various coaching institutes that will be useful for prelims. So supplement this also for current affairs. Usually take it from some other coaching institutes, not of the one which you are doing the monthly magazine. I used to do from Insights. So any one coaching institutes, the prelims book, the compilation, whatever they create, even use that for your current affairs. So these are the book lists for UPSC prelims. I hope it is helpful for you. Thank you for watching and see you again next time. Bye.